What's up, guys? UFC 306. Let's get to it. Sorry for not posting a video for UFC 305, but I was out of the country for a wedding. It was my brother's wedding, so that's why I couldn't make a video. But anyways, here we are. UFC 306. I have to say, it's a disappointment for everything that was, all the hype that it had behind it, being the first event at the Sphere in Vegas. And Dana White, a few months back, making it sound like this was going to be, next to UFC 300 level with, fighters like big names and everything. For what it is, it's a disappointment. If you take away Sean O'Malley from this event, this is a fight night, basically a fight night event. Just by taking away Sean O'Malley from this one, because most people don't care about Dvalishvili much. Sean O'Malley is really the name that is carrying this card for a pay-per-view, and I personally don't think it's a bad card, but for a pay-per-view and for the Sphere and everything, I think it is a disappointment. But I don't know why they took away Anthony Hernandez and Michel Pereira from it, but whatever. 308 is gonna make up for it. 308 is, I'm more excited about 308 than I was for UFC 300. So, anyways, O'Malley versus Dvalishvili is the main event. This one is hard. I am picking Sean O'Malley to win by, I can see a decision and also a TKO, but I'm gonna lean decision. But I'm not super confident in it. I'm like 60-40. This is one of those fights where if the underdog wins, like Dvalishvili was to pull the upset by decision, if he wins, I wouldn't be mind blown. Because the way how Dvalishvili fights, his style of fighting, I think it's what brings problems to strikers like O'Malley. You see, O'Malley is a guy that he's basically 100% a striker that needs distance and to find his range and so that he can let go his punches, his kicks, find his timing, find his range. And Dvalishvili is a guy that doesn't let you do that. Like from the moment the fight starts, he's on you, pressure nonstop, and he'll go for 25 minutes, which is part of another reason why I'm not super confident in picking O'Malley to win. It's one of those fights where I come across this all the time. There is no secret in the game plan. O'Malley and his team should be more than aware that Dvalishvili is not going to go there to play the striking game with him. He's going to go there and clinch as soon as possible to try to get this to the ground. O'Malley is coming from putting an absolute beating on Chito Vera, where every single round he dominated. I think the most competitive round was round 4, which I still gave to O'Malley, and towards the end of round 5, Chito Vera landed a body kick that hurt O'Malley, like he dropped him. But other than that, like I said, a few moments in round 4 and then the very end of round 5, O'Malley just dominated, absolutely put a striking clinic on him. Credit to Chito Vera's chin from eating that knee in the second round. His face was busted up by the end of it. It was basically a striking fight, 25 minutes of striking where O'Malley was the one doing the damage. Chito Vera, like I said, in a few moments didn't do much. So Dvalishvili is coming from beating Henry Cejudo in a fight that I almost picked Cejudo to win that fight, and I changed my mind at the end. But then at the end of round 1, like if you go watch it, basically the way how round 1 played out was the reason why I was at first leaning Cejudo, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is what I thought was going to happen, and it's happening. Where Dvalishvili couldn't take him down, Cejudo took him down and controlled him. I thought that his Olympic wrestling would carry him to win. But then when I look at his age and a lot of things from Merab, that's when I picked Merab. Like officially I picked Merab on that one, but I was scared after round 1. But yeah, only round one, Cejudo won. Round two and three, Dvalishvili. It looked like Cejudo started to slow down, and then Dvalishvili controlled him. He actually took him down and did better in the stand-up. So I see O'Malley well prepared for what Dvalishvili brings into this fight. There's also rumors that he's had a staph infection, which, if you've been watching the UFC for a while, it actually, a lot of people just pull out for staph infections, or they don't perform as well as they should. But, you know, with that being said, if Dvalishvili goes out there and humps him, like basically a hump fest against the cage, and it's doing that over and over and over. I've seen so many fights where the guy doesn't necessarily take the other guy down, but he humped him against the cage for the majority of the fight that the judges gave him the fight. So if that happens, you know, I wouldn't be mind blown. But officially, I'm picking O'Malley by decision, but I could also see a TKO as well. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. I don't remember their first fight. I remember their second one where Grasso won by decision, where round 4, like if you go watch the fight, round 4 is the round that was not clear. See, round 1 was clear Shevchenko. Round 2 was clear Grasso. Round 3 Shevchenko. Round 5 Grasso. And round 4 was the one that I could see the argument for both of them. But overall, I think Shevchenko was on her way to winning that fight. I am picking Shevchenko to win by decision, but I'm like 55-45 on this one. Like if you go watch that fight, she was actually able to do better in the stand-up and overall mixing it up. And like I said, in my opinion, round 5, I mean, 3 minutes into round 5, she was winning the round, and it looks like she tries to go for a takedown or something where she like trips or stumbles, and Grasso takes her back and ends up winning the round and the fight. But like if you watch the fight, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think Shevchenko was, I don't know what happened. Like I said, it looks like a trip or she slipped or lost her balance. I don't know. Grasso took the opportunity and controlled the remaining of round 5. But women's MMA is very I don't mess with it as far as betting because it's so unpredictable. So even when I get it wrong, sometimes I get it completely wrong, and it's like, damn, what happened here? But yeah, I have Shevchenko by decision, but 55-45 on that one. Brian Ortega and Diego Lopes. They were scheduled to fight back in I can't remember what UFC it was. It was UFC 303. They were scheduled to fight. A lot of people are talking about the performance of Diego Lopes on this fight because of a couple of reasons. One, people are saying that Ige took the fight on short notice, and he didn't. Ige had a fight lined up 3 weeks later. Like 3 weeks after that fight was Ige's original fight. So he was more than halfway through his camp. He was like 5 weeks into his fight camp. So he was in fight shape. He was ready. This is not a guy that was on vacation, partying and drinking. And what's interesting is that Ortega versus Lopes, that fight itself was on short notice for both of them. It was only announced like a month before the fight actually would have happened. So, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, Ige was actually, you could argue Ige was more ready to fight than Lopes. Again, he was 3 weeks away from his own fight. And then Diego Lopes had to make weight 145, 155, and then 165 on the same day. So I put an asterisk next to his performance. And here's the crazy part. Diego Lopes clearly won that fight. It's not like it was a controversial split decision or anything like that. Diego Lopes clearly won round 1, round 2, and then he lost round 3. So, you know, with all the facts involved, you know, his performance, I don't think he was at 100%. I really don't, because of everything. Like I said, the short notice, the 3 weight cuts, the change of opponent, and he still won. He clearly won. Again, 2-3. This wasn't a controversial decision. He clearly won 29-28. And Iga is not a bum. This is a guy that has fight, top level competition. He's fighting Brian Ortega, where if you've seen my videos in the past, I talk about I've never been impressed with Brian Ortega. Never. Mediocre striking, just mid-level striking, extremely hittable. If you go watch his last fight against, his fight was Holloway, right? He was a punching bag. Volkanovski punching bag. His last fight against Yair Rodriguez, for the first 4 minutes of that fight, he was getting absolutely massacred. In my opinion, and feel free to disagree, Yair Rodriguez gassed himself in that fight for trying to finish. One, it was in Mexico City, so the altitude, and for just trying to finish Brian Ortega for those first opening minutes, he was going full force. But Ortega, there hasn't been a single fight that I can think of where I can say, wow, Ortega dominated from start to finish. There's always a little thing that I'm just not, fully sold on Ortega. Takedown ability is almost non-existent. Up until his last fight against Yair Rodriguez, every single opponent stopped his takedowns. And Rodriguez did at the beginning, but then once he gassed, he couldn't do it anymore. I have Diego Lopes by TKO, round 2. I'll eat my words if Brian Ortega beats him, but I'm just not impressed yet. So Lopes by TKO, round 2. And then we have Daniel Zellhuber versus Ribovics. Zellhuber's coming from putting a dominant performance against Francisco Prado just a few months ago, where he just dominated the fight, kept it standing, and landed the more clean shots. A few punches here and there landed by Prado, but overall, Zellhuber did really good in that fight. Ribovics is coming from steamrolling over Terrence McKinney. 30 seconds into the first round, he landed a head kick that just put him away. We actually got to see more of what he can do in his previous fight against Kamala Kirk, I can't remember, where, the first round he got taken down and completely controlled. I think it was 4.5 minutes of control time. I'm picking Zellhuber to win this one by decision. I think things like what Ribovics did to Terrence McKinney don't really impress me that much when, he's done it to a guy that has been starched before pretty quick. And I look more at the overall. If Ribovics was to fight McKinney again, I don't think that would happen again. This is not a first round knockout artist. And I think Zellhuber is bigger. I don't think he is bigger, taller, more reach. And I think his striking is good enough to give him a comfortable decision. So I have this Zellhuber by decision. And then we have Ronaldo Rodriguez by Odi Osbourne. Odi Osbourne is coming from, if you watch his last 2 fights, once it hits the ground, there's no escape. It's like, and go watch it against Rafael Filio and Asu Almabayev. The moment he hits the floor, it's like he's never grappled in his entire life. They hold him down effortlessly. They keep him there, and then they finish them, both of them. Ronaldo Rodriguez is coming from beating Bondar, where he showed grappling, he showed scrambles and submissions, which is a bad news for Osbourne, because Osbourne has no scrambles, no submission, nothing. I'm running out of time here. I only have, for whatever reason, when I upload a video from my phone, it only gives me 15 minutes. So yeah, Ronaldo Rodriguez by submission, round 2. Again, once it hits the floor, Osbourne seems to be completely lost. So I have Sean O'Malley by TKO, maybe a decision. Not super confident. Dvalishvili could upset. Valentina Shevchenko by decision. Again, women's MMA. It's always 50-50. Diego Lopes by TKO, round 2. Daniel Zellhuber by decision. And Ronaldo Rodriguez by submission, round 2. If you follow my Instagram, the MMA Sensei, you will see my entire pick for the card. All right, guys, have a good one.